Hello everyone, welcome you all for the new session of iOS App Development Bootcamp. Myself Vivek. Swift is an exciting and powerful language developed by Apple. It is designed for building robust and efficient apps across iOS, macOS, watchOS and tvOS platforms. So before we begin, there is a formula to justify each and every decisions that we are taking. So move on to the next screen. That is 5W and 1H framework. So these questions serve as a foundation for making us understand various aspects of a situation and making well informed decisions. So let's start one by one. Who all can study this Swift programming language? So that's the first question of ours. Swift was developed as part of the initiative Everyone Can Code, which means that language is simple enough for everyone to start coding. So, people with a background in programming and software development, or students, or anyone with a strong interest in app development can learn Swift. There is no age restrictions at all. So, I hope you are clear now on who all can study the Swift programming language. So, moving to the next one, what all required to learn this? Definitely, you are required the Mac computer with enough space for downloading Xcode IED from App Store. While there are ways to run Swift on other systems, having a Mac computer will provide the most seamless experience because Swift development is primarily targeted at Mac OS and iOS platforms and an iPhone, which is not mandatory. We can run it on the simulator itself, but if you are working on apps with camera feature or for some testing purposes, it helps. So these are the basic requirements what we are required for learning this. And then the next one is where you can study. There are variety of resources available for learning Swift programming language, but the best recommended is online courses where you can start from the scratch and upgrade to the advanced level with a detailed roadmap. And the next one is when you can plan the studies. By relying on the online courses, make it easier to manage your time and utilize it in your available schedule. Regularly accessing your progress and making necessary adjustments will help you to stay on track towards your study goals. The fifth W is the important one. Why? So we can move on to the next screen. You may reach this conclusion to study Swift programming based on various recommendations or research. In order to support that factor, I have few points. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the demand for iOS developer is expected to rise 25% between 2021 to 2031. So the future is safe now. And we know the iOS platform is growing rapidly. You can take advantage of this and create innovative apps. Remember, the most transformative ideas often arise when we venture beyond our comfort zone and embrace the unknown. And the most importantly, iOS developer portion command high salaries. Moreover, the iOS programming language is easy to learn. I think these points are sufficiently well to proceed with 100% confidence. So with this, we can move to the final question, how? So this is the place where I am coming into picture. Here we will be discussing learning a range of topics like how does an app work, how to make an application. So before that and all, we can begin with the basics. So basics are the foundation block for our programming. So we will be starting with our next slide. beginning with basics. So in this, initially we are going to learn about the simple data types. So before moving ahead, we just want to know about the Xcode. So Xcode is the IDE that we are going to use for programming Swift programming language. So this can be freely downloaded from the App Store. So let's see how to download it. So you can just open the App Store and search for Xcode. You will find this Xcode developer tools and you can download this for free. After downloading the Xcode, you can just open the Xcode file. So here you will be seeing the options like create a new Xcode project, clone an existing project, open a project or file. So we'll be seeing this later, and on the right hand side you will be having the recently opened files. So this will be empty for you. So initially to start with, we can go with open playground. So file, new, playground. You can select blank and you can save it on the desktop. So playground is a sandbox where you can type Swift code and see immediate results. This is the initial screen we can see in the playground. So the data type what we are going to learn is string. We can denote string as string or str, and we can mention the values in double quotes. So string is a collection of character value that we mention in the double quotes. So the next data type is integer. Integers are whole numbers with no fractional components. We use int to denote it. So it can be negative, 0 or positive values, like any values like this. So the next data type is double. So double is short for double precision floating point number. So whenever we use fractional number, so whenever we use fractional numbers, Swift automatically chooses the type as double. So the next data type is Boolean. So they just hold either true or false. We use bool to denote it. So these are the major data types we want to know. Here we have been seeing that VAR. So everywhere we have been written VAR. So what is this? So this we call about the variables. So this allow us to store temporary information in our program. So they are called variables because they can vary. So here we have been given the name for integer, the value of 0. Afterwards we can change it to whatever the number we want. So we denote it as VAR. Alternative to variables, we are having constants. As the name defines, we cannot able to alter the constant's value. So we will be denoting it as let. So if we are going to change the integer value, and I'm printing that, I'm getting the value as 100. If I'm going to alter the name, and if I'm going to print it, I'll be ending up with error because The constant name we cannot able to alter. So it is suggesting us to change name to variable. And if again I print the name means I'll be getting as test. So this is the major difference between the variable and constants. So the next we are going to see about the string interpolation. To explain that, we just keep name alone and for the print statement. So every time while we print, we'll be getting the greetings Andrew. So if we are going to change the name, that won't reflect in the print statement. So for that, we'll be using the string interpolation. So in this case, whenever we change the name, so that automatically reflects in our output. So string interpolation is the ability to place variables or constants inside your string to make them more useful. Today we have seen the simple data types, variables, constants and string interpolation. So with this, we wrap up our learning for today. Thank you for joining me on this tutorial.